Saturday, January 13th, time 4:41 a.m. I am driving from my home in Tarpon Springs, Florida to test my rail fanning luck around the Tampa metro area. Honestly, I love leaving early in the morning. 99% of the time, it is a smooth, quick drive. However, can't say the same later on in the day. Gotta love the crazy population growth. 5:25 a.m. I am set up at the Washington Street crossing just south of Adamo Drive in between the northbound signals at TS Crossing and the southbound signals at Plum River. Though all the signals are red, I know from experience that CSX train L700 will be departing likely within the hour. Exactly 20 minutes later, the signal is lit up high green, which is also known as a clear aspect. Not even 5 minutes later, here is L700, Tampa to Bradenton, Tropicana, and other miscellaneous. Nice treat with the EMD leader this morning. Unfortunately, can't really see much of the engines, but it is what it is. Checked my normal areas, and as I was crossing the bridge over Yeoman, I saw a train. The train was Y393, but due to my luck with the traffic lights, it was already at control point YN working customers. However, shortly after getting to 78th, I heard CSX train Y295 working on the A line west of Reseda. You may be wondering, what is Y295 doing here? Isn't that the Tampa Street Runner? Well, two customers that were served regularly, Cargill Sweeteners and a place called Chemical Formulators, closed, so Y295 doesn't really head downtown much anymore. There are a couple customers left, but I don't know when they are worked. Y295's new duties involve working customers on the A line along the city road.
Alright, I appreciate it, Craig. We're running from it. Have a good morning.
Alright, you two guys. Have a good morning. Yep.
And a few minutes later, Y295 got a lunar signal, aka restricting, heading to the yard. Strobe lights are for. Those indicate that this is a remote controlled job. back over to 78th Street to see if I can get Y393 coming back. One issue with 78th Street is this customer to the west. When the wind is right, well, it smells like rancid cooking oil. As daylight approaches, Y393 gets permission into Yeoman Yard. Y393 is another remote control job which works customers around the eastern end of the yard. .43 a.m. It's actually around 7 now as I'm filming this. 441's passing Plant City at 6:43, so that's what the power is on that. Normal stuff. Might have a DPU, I'm not gonna bother waiting for that. As daylight really begins to set in, CSX train M441 makes its way into Yeoman. I decided against flying the drone just due to the breezes today, so there won't be any drone footage. M441 is a daily beast out of Waycross, Georgia, bound for Tampa, Florida's Yeoman Yard. Also, M441 picks up auto racks in Baldwin, Florida. This train usually has pretty much every car type you can think of. Lots of industry around Tampa. And personally, I love seeing all the different kinds of cars on these manifest trains. Boxcars filled with paper and who knows what else. Center beam flat cars loaded with lumber, empty scrap gongs, hoppers filled with all kinds of rock, cars with steel coils. Interesting to see an old Norfolk and Western car too. Tank cars filled with chemicals, loaded rock cars for Conrad Yelvington, empty Tropicana juice reefers for Bradenton. Over here in Bradenton, they also use cryotrans reefers. And auto racks filled with finished automobiles bound for the Automobile Distribution Center on the Drew Spur. Today's 441 was long enough for mid-train power, also known as Distributed Power Unit or DPU. At first to leave after 441 stopped, but a young fan of my channel showed up. Shout out to whoever you are. I'm here at TS Crossing, which is one of many entrances to Yeoman Yard. Nothing was really going on here except for M441 still switching in the background. The track on the left is the Yeoman Yard Loop. The track on the right is the bypass track, often used by phosphate shuttle trains to and from the Golden Valley. TS stands for Tampa Southern Railroad, a railroad line that started at Uceda Yard and went towards Bradenton, Sarasota, and beyond. Where you see M441 working, there used to be a diamond there that crossed the SAL main line. The TS line is now owned by CSX and is designated as the Tampa Terminal Sub and the Palmetto Sub. The scanner went quiet for a while, so I drifted east to Plant City to see if any activity was happening. In the days of precision-scheduled railroading, not as many freight trains run through town. S-Line northbound, red. S-Line southbound, red. A-Line, red, red, red. Well, that's kind of what I was expecting, honestly. Here's a look at the Robert W. Williford Railroad Museum on this quiet morning. I decided to walk around town and noticed one difference right away. The tarps on the no train horn signs have been removed. At this point, I don't know when the quiet zone will take place, but I assume in the near future. I decided to hop on US 92 to head to Winston, as I was hearing some garbled chatter on the radio over that way. When I got to Winston, I noticed this right away. The land around the south leg has been cleared out. I haven't been to Winston in a while, so I'm not sure how new this is. There is also a fairly new switch here. It was put in towards the middle to end of 2023. I'm unsure if this is going to be a new rail-served customer or what. Either way, it will be interesting to see what happens. A bit later, after walking to the A-line to check signals, I look back and the signal into Winston turned green or white, a restricting. Someone is coming in. And a few minutes later, the train came. The train was CSX train L743, daily to almost daily Junction City rock loads from Brown Sand, Georgia to Winston, Florida. Springs definitely confirm that this train is loaded. There were also a couple of new CSX hoppers in this consist. Today's L743 was long and heavy enough to need an N-train DPU. After L743, I decided to drive over to the 10th Street area. And 10th Street is a crossing just to the north of Lakeland along the Vitus subdivision. When I got to 10th Street, the signals were red. I went north to Fairbanks Street to check the southbound signals, and lo and behold, they were red. After checking those signals, I heard CSX train L772 coming out of Winston. I am set up on the western edge of downtown Lakeland. L772 is a daily local that works customers between Carter Siding and Davenport. Sometimes this train has a lot of rock hoppers, but today they just had 2 covered hoppers. I decided to make my way back towards home, and I-4 was really not treating me well. I had the scanner on just in case I heard something as I was coming home. Well, I just heard B309 on the scanner. That's a pretty rare train. So B309 comes from Port Manatee, and I think it goes to New Wales. And I just heard that, but I don't know if I'm going to make it because of the lights. We'll see. After a nail-biting drive, I made it to Valrico, and a medium clear signal, red over green, was awaiting me, along with lowering gates and a distant horn. B309 is a very infrequent as-needed train out of Port Manatee bound for, I believe, New Wales. Well, not really much of a train today, with 2 biodiesel AC-44 rebuilds running engines light. So much for that. B309 would mark the end of my day. At South End Valrico Siding, this is Tampa Bay Royals signing off.